There's a certain hope out there that some games will eventually see the light of day, that titles that have spent years upon years in development will finally be released. Such thoughts are filled with hope, and since I feel like crushing such emotions, here's a bunch of games that are never ever going to be released, no matter how much you hope. It's been in development for perhaps way too damn long, with The Last Guardian first surfacing back in 2007. On the surface, it has everything going for it. The team behind Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, a relationship between the player and the adorable young griffin creature, and visuals that had the potential to finally bridge that uncanny valley syndrome that plagues so many games, thanks to subtle gestures and fluid animations. It's a puzzle game first and foremost, with the player guiding the young griffin known as Trico around a hostile world, with the role of guardian switching between the two at any given time. And year after year it has been delayed and stuck in development hell. Whenever Sony has been asked about the game, they've told journalists that The Last Guardian is still in development, although by now it most likely has gone through several changes and is waiting for the right time to be reintroduced to the world. Whenever that is, it needs to be soon however. The gaming landscape has changed dramatically in the last couple of years, and the rise of indie titles have proven that you don't need millions of dollars in order to create an emotional interactive journey. One of the greatest games that never found exceptional sales has to be Beyond Good and Evil. We've spoken before about how this title is an absolute masterpiece and deserving of a sequel, and that's something we've been hoping for so many years. Hell, we've seen some tantalizing footage in the past of such work in progress, but that was years ago. And times change. Beyond Good and Evil 2 has been in development since at least 2007, although Ubisoft put the game on hold in 2009. While the game still is in development, it isn't a priority for the publisher right now. At the end of July of this year, Ubisoft finally addressed the status of the game, saying in a press release that, "In many ways, Beyond Good and Evil is an inimitable game. It appeals to all generations of gamers and is an inspiration behind many of Ubisoft's past and future games. It's still far too early to give many details about this new title, but what we can say is that while Mikhail and his team at Ubisoft are working with the core tenets of Beyond Good and Evil, they're developing something that aspires to push past the boundaries of a proverbial sequel and leverages next-gen technologies to deliver a truly surprising, innovative, and exceptional game." The entire team is excited about the direction this extremely ambitious project is taking, and we will have more to share later as it progresses. If Beyond Good and Evil 2 is indeed ever finished, I'll eat my hat with sriracha sauce. Ask any Final Fantasy fan what their favourite game in the franchise happens to be, and they'll say probably Final Fantasy VII. If they say Final Fantasy 13, be sure to shun them to the max. Final Fantasy VII is a great example of a studio game for broke, making a game that could very easily make or break a franchise. And despite massive odds and some huge gambles, Final Fantasy VII paid off back in the 1990s. It brought blockbuster action and cinematic storytelling to a new console on the PlayStation 1, and fans have been wanting more of that world ever since. In 2005 at E3, a video was shown off of the PlayStation 3 showing what an HD version of Final Fantasy VII could possibly look like on that console. Folks naturally went nuts, and conspiracy theories were thrown out suggesting that Sony was indeed remaking the most famous of all Final Fantasies. In March of 2010, Final Fantasy XIII director Motomu Toriyama stated, "If we had the manpower and the time to work on a project, if we were to remake Final Fantasy VII with the quality of Final Fantasy XIII, it would become a tremendous project. If we can get the number of people we need, by all means that would be the one I would really want to remake." Those are big ifs, with Square Enix explaining that such a remake would only be considered when they could release a Final Fantasy game that surpasses 7. Technically they already did with Final Fantasy VIII, but don't expect to see a high-def battle between Sephiroth and Cloud outside of the Adventuring feature film anytime soon. StarCraft is home to some of the richest strategy gaming on the planet, with a sci-fi lore that is just begging to be explored in other genres. And that almost happened. A game was almost released that would have starred the Terran covert agent Nova as she infiltrated various organizations and dealt with all manner of enemies, from human, Zerg and Protoss. Blizzard and developer Swing and Ape Studios almost had the game ready in the mid-2000s, but delay after delay forced the title underground and to be suspended. In 2008, Blizzard co-founder Frank Pierce explained that the game is yet to be technically cancelled, with the company focusing on their more successful strategy and MMO brands at present, with Ghost being put on hold while development also began to focus on Diablo 3 and StarCraft 2. And with the new StarCraft 2 expansion still on the way, ventures into console territory with Diablo 3 and the highly massive Hearthstone dominating at that studio and publisher. Don't bank on this game ever seeing the light of day again, but at least Nova will be in that other Blizzard game, Heroes of the Storm. That's something, right?